Thank you very much.
I'm just gonna mute everybody, and you guys can put your questions in the chat to me, and then afterwards we can open up one by one with people, yeah? Thank you, and I think Naima's gonna help us in the background as well, so. Alright, enjoy everybody.
या अली मदद, तमाम साथियों को या अली मदद. Before we start, let's ask Mola Baba to help us. Ya Mola Zaman, Ya Nur Maulana Shah Karimul Seni Hazir Imam, Tawfiq, Tahid, Himmat wa Yari, Tawfiq, Tahid, Himmat wa Yari. या मौलाए मेहरबान, या मौलाए मेहरबान, हम तेरे कुछ रूहानी बच्चे यहाँ पर जमा हुए हैं to learn, to listen, to understand some of your batini ilm Mola, ya Maulai Mehraban. You know we are weak and we are not where we supposed to be, where we should be, where you want us to be. But Mola, we are trying our best, Mola, to learn the true knowledge of your tariqah, of your farman, so we may follow you in the way you want us to follow you, Mola. Ya Mola, be with us, keep your hand on our shoulder, stay close to us so we can do what we have gathered here to do, Mola. Shukranillah, walhamdulillah, Nur Maulana Shah Karimul Seni Hazir Imam. All my friends, if you are looking at your screen and wondering what that is, I'd like to start this session with this hadith Nabawi, and there are different versions of this hadith, and I have shared two of them from a book called Hadith ALWAAZ in the prophetic tradition. And let's see if we can understand what it means, because what we will be talking today, it will be related to this. And there are a word or two I would like everyone to pay attention to, and those are the underlined highlighted words, and that is, let's read this. The Holy Prophet said, "Indeed, among you there is the one who will fight." Underline the word fight. "For the sake of the ta'wil of the Quran, as I did for the sake of Tanzil." Why am I emphasizing on word fight? If we go back in our history, Huzur Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam had to fight with the people of his time, within and outside the family, within and outside the tribe, within and outside the city he was living in. Remember, Muhammad has such a personality that from the childhood and in his young age, people called him Amin and Sadiq. And when Muhammad said something, there would be no argument, as he was the most honest person amongst that tribe, within that family. But then, when he declared his prophecy, his prophethood, and brought the surah and ayat of the Quran, what happened? People did not believe him. He had to fight. He had to verbally, physically, emotionally, and intellectually had to fight with the people of that time. And in this hadith, he's saying, as I fought for the tanzil, the revelation of the Quran, there will be one amongst you who would fight for the ta'wil, the interpretation, the batin of the Quran. And people ask, who is that? Is that Abu Bakr or Umar? He said, no. Rather, he is the mender of the shoe. And this hadith is famous for Kasibul Nal. And if you look at this second version of this hadith, it says, the Holy Prophet has said, I am fighting for the sake of tanzil of the Quran, and Ali is fighting for the sake of the ta'wil. Why use the word fight? Could it not have just said, I am bringing the tanzil and Ali will do the ta'wil? It was not about the tanzil and ta'wil. It was about the followers, the people around him, जिसको इन बातों से तकलीफ होती थी और उनको फॉल्स आर्ग्यूमेंट करना पड़ता था और उनको डिनाई करना पड़ता था. मैं किसकी बात कर रहा हूं? The people around Muhammad and Ali. They would do anything, they would have all the arguments to deny the verses of the Quran and then deny the ta'wil, the interpretation, the understanding and the batin of the Quran. So Muhammad had to fight and Mullah Ali had to fight. Like I said, sometime verbally, sometime emotionally, and sometime intellectually. They had to fight. Today, unfortunately, we are still in the same fight. We are in the same fight. So, let's just take a couple of minutes to understand what I am saying. And before I start what I'm trying to say, that we are still in the same fight, let's look at Mullah Abbas Farman. 2018, just during the Diamond Jubilee, just recently, Mullah said, the second point I would like to make to my Jamaat is our tradition in Islam is an intellectual tradition. And I say to my spiritual children, invest in your intellect. Learn. Use learning for the benefit of yourself, your families, and your Jamaat. Acquire knowledge throughout your lifetime. Not just during the academic years when you are in the education. Keep knowledge part of the way you think and develop your activities. Bring into your activities knowledge, competence, wisdom, and what we call best practice. I would be so happy if all my Jamaat was part of best practice worldwide. This is what I hope for my Jamaat, and I give blessing for success in best practice. Khanavadan, Khanavadan, Khanavadan. Now, what is this farman is related to this hadith and what we are talking about today? Mullah from the very first day, 1957, and the previous Jama, for 72 years, they have been fighting, urging, requesting, giving farman to the Jamaat and saying what? Have the ethic of Islam, best practice, and knowledge, intellect, and wisdom. How many farman would Imam would have to give us before we would say that is enough, we understand, and no false argument? I'm not saying is everyone in the Jamaat are like that. I'm not saying it is you who is like that. But we do need to look at ourselves. Is there anywhere, at any time, with our false argument, and I'm going to quote one of the Imam's London Farman, because this session and most of the participants on this session are from London. What Imam has said: follow your religion with conviction, not with convenience. Was Mullah talking to anyone else, or was Mullah talking to us? Are we the one who's following the religion with convenience? Whenever it's convenient for us, we follow. When it's not convenient for us, we leave it. Whenever farman is for the benefit of our short-term material life, we follow. Instantly we follow. But when it comes to our enlightenment of the soul, for the sake of the batin, either we say, and no one can deny this because we have heard on this very line, is it okay to do my ibadat in the morning? Is it okay to do my ibadat 7 o'clock, 12 o'clock in the afternoon? I cannot wake up 4 o'clock in the morning. I cannot concentrate. I mean, we have all the excuses. If we start to write the book of excuse, I think we will have more excuse than any other tariqah in the world. What is the reason behind that? We have the best tariqah in Islam. We have the best religion in the world. We have a living Imam, living guidance. We have all the knowledge, wisdom available to us. Then what is the excuse? What is the reason that we are making these excuses that, yeah, I cannot wake up and I cannot do this and I cannot do that? What can be the reason? Why Imam has to fight with us to do what is good for us? He's not giving us farman what is good for him. He's giving us farman what is good for us. But Imam has to constantly fight. First, fight on the tariqah. And then second, he has to fight for the batin of the tariqah. Doesn't that sound just like this hadith? as I fought for the Tanzil, Ali, the Imam, will fight for the Tawil. So I believe the point has been driven, and if we understand and if we are truly the follower of the Imam Zaman, truly like to have the knowledge of the Imam Zaman, truly wanted to enlighten our soul, enhance our soul, and enlighten our intellect, then what would we do? We will follow the Farman the way he wants us to follow, not when it's convenient for us. So, apology if this comes out very, very strong, because I want everyone's attention. Because if not, then we are wasting our time, our life away, and next thing we will know, the time is over, and then what we gonna have? What we gonna have? Pashemani, regrets, and that's all we will be left with. Pashemani and regrets. We don't want that, do we? No, we don't. That's why we are on this channel right now, because we are not amongst those who just follow the zahir of the tariqah. We are here to learn, to understand the batin of the tariqah, and that is our goal. And inshallah, step by step, we are getting closer and closer to the nur of the Imam, inshallah ta'ala. Acha. So let's come and look at some of the question, the reason we are having this session today. All of you remember last month or earlier this month, we had 3 sessions on Betul Khayal, Ibadat and Isme Azam. And I'm so proud of everyone on this line that they have sent beautiful questions. Beautiful question. And I was amazed reading this question. So if you look at today's title of today's session, it literally says, what is soul? Ruh kya hai? That was one of the question actually. Someone asked simple 3-word question. What is soul? How beautiful this question is. This person truly want to learn about the soul. Without using extraordinary big words, this person just asked simple question, what is soul? And then other question I'm going to read, and then we will come to this question. Second question I received, can one see the soul? If yes, with which eyes? What a beautiful question. Third question. I believe I had mentioned in the session, we were talking about Nafsun Waida, one single soul. And she asked, one soul or multiple soul? Because of course we are millions and billions of us. So are we talking about one soul or are we talking about billions of people? Multiple soul. Fourth question. Soul which was breathed into Adam. What was that soul? I hope everyone are getting amazed as I was amazed to listen and to read these questions. Fourth or fifth question was the difference between soul of Mu'min, soul of Imam, and the soul of Allah. And the fourth one is simple 2-word, universal soul. I believe he wanted to ask what is universal soul. So let's come to our first understanding of the soul. Remember, we will not be able to finish everything today, and we are supposed to talk about the soul, ibadat, and Isme Azam. And if you look at my footnote in the announcement which was sent by Altaf, it reads, of course, these are hard and unknown subject to most. That is so true, that the subject of soul, subject of ibadat, and subject of Isme Azam is very hard, and mostly it is unknown to the Jamaat. And inshallah, with your prayers and with Imam's Tawfiq, Taid, Himmat and Yari, we will try to cover, if not everything, most everything. What is soul? रूह क्या है? कैसे समझें कि हम रूह क्या है? We had talked about the four attribution of the soul when we are born in this body, in this physical body. We go through the four steps of the soul. And if you all remember, and I'm not going to go in detail, you guys can listen to the previous lecture and you can see what those four steps are. But just quickly, mineral soul, vegetative soul, animal soul, and human rational soul. Those were the four steps and the attribution of the soul. But that does not answer the question, what is soul? Soul is the engine. Soul is the batin of our physical being. Soul is the essence of the human. Soul is the batin of our physical being. Soul is the essence of our physical being. Soul is permanent versus jism. This body is temporary. The jism is the veil for the soul. हमारी जो रूह है वो हमारी जिस्म का बातिन और हमारा जिस्म हमारी रूह का जाहिर है. हमारी रूह परमानेंट है, हमारा जिस्म टेम्पररी है. So what Allah has done, that He had taken a temporary thing, our body, which is visible to us, and He had taken a permanent thing, which is our soul, and He has put that in us. So what is driving our physical being? We can say our soul. But then there is a question, what is driving our soul? What is the soul of our soul? हमारी रूह की रूह क्या है? पहले सिंपल आंसर, हमारी रूह की रूह अक्ल है. The soul of our soul is our intellect. So what is driving our soul? Our intellect. What is driving our body? Our soul. So soul is in the center of the intellect and the body. Soul is the driving force. And the example our Buzrugane-Deen, the Arif-e-Kamilin, the Arif-e-Zaman has given. The soul, the example of a soul is the powerhouse. And the example of our body is like as light switch within our apartment. हमारे अपार्टमेंट में जो इलेक्ट्रिक का बोर्ड लगा हुआ है ना, वो हमारा जिस्म है. जो पावर हाउस है वो रूह है, और पावर हाउस के पीछे जो प्रोग्राम्स काम करते हैं वो इंटेलेक्ट है. आई थिंक आई नीड टू रिपीट दिस अगेन. हमारे घरों के अंदर जो स्विच बोर्ड लगे हुए हैं ना, इलेक्ट्रिक पैनल्स, दैट इज एग्जाम्पल ऑफ आवर बॉडी. द पावर हाउस, जो इलेक्ट्रिक के पावर हाउस होते हैं, दैट इज एग्जाम्पल ऑफ आवर सोल. जिस तरह से पावर हाउस से हमारे इलेक्ट्रिक पैनल में इलेक्ट्रिक आती है, इस तरह से रूह से हमारे जिस्म में पावर आता है. लेकिन सवाल ये था कि पावर हाउस को कौन चलाता है? What drives our soul? The programs behind the powerhouse is intellect. वो इंटेलेक्ट की मिसाल पर है. तो हमारे रूह के पीछे जो पावर है वो हमारी अक्ल है. Those are the programs that is running our soul, and our soul is powering our physical being, our physical body. So together with the intellect and soul, they are doing what our physical body is doing. So जो चीज़ हमको नज़र आती है, जो एक्शन हमको नज़र आते हैं, जिस तरह मेरा ये हाथ हिलाना, this is because of two things. One, because of the living soul in me. Second, because of the intellect. So our brain is giving order to the soul, and soul is driving my hand to do the movement or do whatever I need to do. Soul. We had talked about the journey or the four attribution of the soul, and I believe everyone had understood what that is. But now the other question remains. And what was that? The second question: can we see the soul? And if yes, with what eyes? कौन सी आंखों से हम अपनी रूह को देख सकते हैं? Where did this question come from? It came from मौला's फरमान. मौला आका सुल्तान मोहम्मद शाह हमारी जाने इस इमाम से फिदा हो, अपने कई फरामीन के अंदर फरमाते हैं कि आप अपने रूह को कम से कम एक मर्तबा निकाल कर देखें, कम से कम एक मर्तबा निकाल कर देखें. And this question is, can we see our soul? What does our soul will look like? Let's say that I take my soul out. What would it look like? And with which eye will I be able to see? It sounds like a very tough question, doesn't it? It sounds like a very tough question. But actually it's not. अगर हम ये समझ गए हैं कि रूह बातिन है और जिस्म जाहिर है, तो जो चीज बातिन है उसको हम कौन सी आंखों से देखेंगे? उसको हम बातिन की आंखों से देखेंगे. जो चीज जाहिर है उसको हम कौन सी आंखों से देखेंगे? उसको हम अपनी जाहिर आंखों से देखेंगे. अगर हम इस बात को वापस दोबारा से समझ गए, एंड इफ यू अंडरस्टैंड दिस, द सोल इज एब्स्ट्रैक्ट, सोल इज बातिन, एंड यू कैन सी द सोल only if you take a journey. Let's take a journey. How about we take the journey? If we take the journey of our personal world, हमारे बातीन की जर्नी, हमारे अंदर की जर्नी. If we take a journey of our batin, then what we will find there? we will find our soul. And because of the journey of the batin requires all of the senses that we have in our zahir, the senses of listening, senses of seeing, senses of touch, senses of taste, and senses of talk. अगर ये 5 सेंसेस हमारे जो ज़ाहिर है, अगर उसको हम बातीन के अंदर अप्लाई करें तो क्या होगा? हमारी बातीन की आंख आस्ते आस्ते खुलने लगेंगी. And this is not a question, but I'm going to go ahead and add this question. How would that feel when our batin eyes will open and when we will start to see our soul? How would it feel? मिसाल सुने, क्योंकि मिसालों से हम इसको समझ पाएंगे. When we were children, let's say when we were 1 year old, 9 months old, 15 months old, and when the light will go on in the room, what would happen to our eyes? हमारी आंखें चुंदिया जाती थी. We were not able to keep our eyes open when the light will go on in the room. Do we all remember that experience from our childhood? All of a sudden from the dark, if somebody turns on the light, we were not able to keep our eyes open. The very first time, the very second time, the very third time, when we are the children in our batin, when we are like a baby in our spiritual world, our inner world, alam-e-shakhsi, personal world, the universe within you. When that eyes will open and when we see the light for the first time, for the second time, for the third time, we will not be able to keep our eyes open. We will go like this. But then we will get used to it and we will be able to see the soul. But this is also a journey. I wanted to make sure no one quote me by saying that Aziz sir have said that when we will see our soul, we will recognize Allah. No, this is a journey. Darja by darja, step by step. As we recognize our soul more and more and more, as we are able to keep our eyes open and are able to see the soul within ourselves, we will get closer and closer and closer to the nur of the Imam. Did you notice? All these hints are within Imam's Farman. I'm not telling you anything new. None of this coming from this Garib and Nachis. No. All these hints are in Imam's Farman. What do we have to do? Collect those hints. Make a link and make a complete understanding. ये सारी बातें इमाम के फरामीन में है. And inshallah, step by step, as we are able to keep our eyes open and then our ears open and then our feeling of the touch, the smell and the talk. I know some of you may be asking, what does sense of the touch, the smell and the speak will have to do with it? Hang on, we will cover all of that. So right now, one thing, the power of seeing, the power of sight, and second, power of listening. Because those are the initial steps in the journey of the batin. पहले जो लाइट दिखाई देंगी, जो नूर दिखाई देगा, that will be the most colorful light you will ever see in your lifetime. You will not be able to keep your eye on it. It will dazzle you. It will blind you. You will not be able to keep your eyes open. But do not give up. Do not give up. Matter of fact, increase the level and the speed of your Isme Azam. Darja by darja, step by step, link by link. Come close to the Noor of Imam. Remember this. Keep your eyes open. Try to keep your eyes open. And practice, practice and practice more. And you will have the didar of the initial. Pele pele, Noor ki chingari ka didar. First step, not the last step. Do not stop there. That is just the first step. And then, as you get used to it, you will get to the next second level. And there, not only you will have the sense of the sight, the eyesight, but also your batini ears. आपके बातीन के कान भी खुल जाएंगे. And then you will start to receive the words, the guidance in your batin. It will tell you what to do, how to progress. You may not be able to understand the very first time, as you were not able to keep your eyes open the very first time. But what was the instruction? What is the prescription? Do not give up. Keep quiet. Keep quiet. Listen. Listen to it carefully. Step by step, the sound will become clear and clear and clear. Just like the light became clear, clear, and your sound will become clear, clear, and clear. And then you will be able to progress to the third level. So we only will talk about two levels today. The sight and the hearing. The aankh or batini kaan. Batini aankh or batini kaan. Acha. So let's come back to the next question. One soul or the multiple soul? Both is correct. Both is correct. How can both be correct? भाई यहाँ तो एक soul बोलो, यहाँ multiple बोलो. You cannot say both and then say both will be correct. Actually, at the level of the Imam, at the highest level of the soul, at the level of universal soul, the Imam is Zaman, the soul is one. And Imam encompasses all of the soul within him. He is Wakulle Shain. He is Wakulle Shain. He encompasses everything, including all of the soul of the world. So when we are talking about at the highest level, at the level of the Imam, the soul is one. But when we are talking about the manifestation, the copies, the sun ray, then the sun, the Noor of Imam is one, and the sun ray are in millions and billions. So now you see how is soul one and how the soul is multiple. एक तरफ से वो कसरत में है, यानी कि आलम में दुनिया में, आलम इंसानियत के अंदर souls की कापियां हैं. I would not say there are multiple souls, I would say soul की कापियां हैं. लेकिन आलम अमर में at the level of the Noor, at the level of the Imam, the soul is one and one only. Nafsun Wahida, the single soul. Okay, the next question was soul which was breathed into Adam. Which soul was breathed into Adam? अगर आप तमाम को आदम का किस्सा याद है तो आपको याद होगा कि खुदावंद ताला ने अपनी खुद की रूह आदम में फूंक दी. He breathed his own soul into Adam and Adam became alive. Inshallah, tomorrow when we practice our Isme Azam and when we succeed, I did not say if we succeed, we will definitely succeed. When we succeed, Imam will breathe his Noor, his soul into us. The same soul which Allah breathed into Adam and same soul which Allah breathed into Maryam. Why did Allah breathe his soul into Maryam? What was the reason? Why do we call Isa, the Jesus, Ruh Allah, the soul of Allah? Why? When Maryam safeguarded her ears, she would not listen to any ill concept. She will not listen to any knowledge other than the true knowledge of the Imam Zaman and her teacher Zakaria, Paigambar Zakaria. She only kept her ears open and eyes open to two things: the ilm of the Imam and teaching of Prophet Zakaria, who was her teacher. उसने और कोई भी गलत कॉन्सेप्ट को, गलत इल्म को, she would not listen to hocus pocus, but she only will focus on the true knowledge of the Imam Zaman and the talimat, the teaching of her teacher Hazrat Paigambar Zakaria. And because of that, when she went on a side and started her Isme Azam, when she sat down for बंदगी, जब वो इबादत के अंदर बैठ गई तो खुदावंद ताला ने अपनी रूह उसके अंदर फूंक दी. This question and the next question has relationship, which is Ruh or Noor. So when I said Allah breathed his soul into Adam, and when we talked about that Allah breathed his soul, the Noor, into Maryam, what did we learn from this? Actually, at the highest level, Allah's soul is Allah's Noor. क्योंकि ऊपर के मकाम पर हर चीज एक होती है. खुदा की रूह ही हकीकत में खुदा का नूर है. Now if we think back, what did he breathe into Adam and Maryam? He had breathed his noor into them. Today, when we succeed, Imam will breathe their soul. Imam will breathe their Noor into us. Ameen, inshallah. The next question. The soul of Mu'min, soul of Imam, and soul of Allah. How do we understand these three different, sound like three different soul and concept? When we are learning as children, what do? We talk about Allah, then we talk about prophets and imams, and then we talk about mu'minins. Correct? But as we move forward, as we go upward, if you can think of a triangle like this, on the bottom over here, यहाँ से लेकर यहाँ तक बहुत सारे इंसान नजर आते हैं. There is a multiplication on the bottom, but on the triangle, as we go forward and upward, what do we see? We see things are getting smaller, and getting into a single soul. एक रूह के अंदर आकर on the top of the triangle stops. So now the question, the soul of Mu'min, soul of Imam, and soul of Allah. Actually, there is only one nafsun wahida. There is only one nafsun wahida. It is the same soul when we are talking about the soul of Mu'min, soul of Imam, and soul of Allah. So what is the different level? Depending on where you're standing. Are you standing on the bottom? Are you in the middle somewhere? Or are you on the top of this? So what is the difference between soul of Mu'min, soul of Imam, and soul of Allah? The stage. Where do you stand on this triangle? That is the difference. Otherwise, soul is the soul and soul is the soul. One single soul. Nafsun वाहिदा. याद रखें इसको. हम तमाम एक soul से हैं. What was the example given? The example of the sun and the sun ray. Even though sun rays are in millions and billions, but they are all connected to the sun. So in the evening when all the sun rays goes back, where does it go back? Original source, the sun. The original soul, the Imam. And what does Imam has? That's Nafsun Waida, the soul and the Noor of Allah. We have all come from Him and we will all return back to Him. Depending on what level are we at. We do not have to die to be one with the Imam. इमाम के साथ एक होने के लिए हमको मरने की जरूरत नहीं है. हम जीते जी कम से कम एक मर्तबा अपनी रूह को निकाल कर देखें, और अगर हम अपनी रूह को पहचान जाते हैं तो हम खुदा को पहचान जाते हैं और हम फनाफी इमाम हो सकते हैं. But that requires what? First, firm belief that we can do that. Firm belief, we can do that. Second, true knowledge. How do we do that? Third, courage, himmat. If we have those three things, and Imam has already blessed us with his Isme Azam bowl, with that, we can do it. Believe, Iman, knowledge, how to, courage, हिम्मत. अगर ये तीन चीज हमारे पास है तो हम जरूर इसी जिंदगी में अपने रूह को देख पाएंगे, अपनी रूह को पहचान पाएंगे. इन रिटर्न हम इमाम को पहचान पाएंगे and in return हम फनाफी इमाम हो सकते हैं. What was the principle? Step by step by step by step. Don't give up. Don't give up. It can happen tonight. It can happen tomorrow. Don't give up. Just practice and believe. Practice and learn. Practice and have courage. But keep practicing your ibadat. You have the prescription. I hope you remember the ibadat does not begin at 4 o'clock in the morning, but ibadat begins the second you open your eyes in the morning. If you are following the prescription, inshallah you will be successful. What was the second prescription? Do not wait until 4 o'clock to start your ibadat. Start your ibadat at 3 o'clock in the morning. If you are following this prescription, inshallah, it will not take long before you are successful in your ibadat. But if you go to doctor and you take the prescription, you even get your prescription filled, but if you never take the medicine, if you never follow the prescription, then you cannot blame the doctor that I'm not getting better. Those who have practiced in last 3-4 weeks can tell you how much they have progressed. And I'm sure in their humbleness they may not say anything because Molapa says don't talk about it. But I truly, honestly have believe in the Imam Zaman and his Farman. If Imam said you can get there, then I am saying you can get there. Do you believe that? That is the question. Not if I believe it or not. Because I truly believe it. Do you believe that? So now you have the Farman, now you have the knowledge, now you have the prescription. It's all up to you now. Don't let Imam tell you again and again to do what is right for you. Do it what is right for you. You need to do it. Don't let Mullah Papa tell you same thing again and again and again. How many times does Mullah Papa has to say? No, we are adult. We are truly good believers. We are the people who like to learn. And look at all these people on this line. Why would you be here? Only reason I can think of, because you truly want to learn and you truly want to progress. So let me stop here. And remember, this is just the first part of this session. Inshallah, we will have 2 or 3 sessions and we will cover everything. What is soul, what is ibadat, and the Ism Azam, and how to progress. We will cover all of that. Today I did receive one first question.